everyone, Tina here for Papertrey Ink. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm so glad you're joining me. Well, today we are going to create a fun get well card, and we're using a stamp set called Garden Grace. I love the florals in here, and I love that there's some smaller florals too, so we'll be adding this to our card. We're also going to be using some die sets. We have the coordinating die set. We have the cornered Nature's Bloom die set. This creates some beautiful corners. We'll be using this along with the Elegant Heart. And then for my greeting, we're going to be using This Is Big Sentiments, Get Well. We're going to use the larger one, and then we'll also use a sub-sentiment called Sending Love and Healing Hugs. I think will go perfect with my card today. So let's start with our background. For my background, we're going to create it using our cornered die set. And I'm going to take some white cardstock, and we're going to layer our cornered in the corners. We'll just layer these. What I like to do is kind of line them up, and then I will tape them down. And I will die cut out this corner, and then I can pick this up, and then I can flip it, and then I'll die cut this out. I'll do that, and I'll be right back. It kind of creates a beautiful frame, and I just think this is gorgeous. Now I want a little bit of soft color behind my panel. To do that, we're going to bring in some inks, and I'm also bringing in some white cardstock here. We're going to just do some messy ink blending. It's going to look like a hot mess, but when we're done, it's going to be really pretty. We're going to start by inking the edges. I'm going to use, let's use Simply Chartreuse. We'll just add some ink to the edges. Okay, this is not the hot mess part. It gets worse. So I'll clean off my work surface, and then I will be right back. So this is what it looks like so far. Okay, now where our roses are, I'm going to add some pink. I'm using my Papertrey Ink Hibiscus Burst ink, and then I'm going to ink up a little bit with my large blending brush, and then I'm going to add some pink to these four corners. So now we have some pink. Next, I'm bringing in my Summer Sunrise ink. I'm going to bring in a smaller blending brush because I want to be able to add a little extra color into that pink area. And this can go anywhere. I just want a little bit of highlight on my rose. And then I'm also going to bring in my Hawaiian Shores ink. So this is what it looks like so far. Soft and beautiful. Now these florals here, I want to add a little bit of my teal. So I'm going to use this as a guide, and then I'm going to add a little bit of teal here and here. And it's not going to be perfectly lined up, and that's okay. Just as long as I have just a little bit of teal in here. I'm going to add a little bit more green here on these edges. Kind of going light and dark with it. Now there is our hot mess. Okay, what we're going to do next is we're going to take our ground. I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to add glue behind here. Now we're going to layer this right over our background. And we'll just give it a good press. And I just love messy ink blending because you just can't go wrong with it. Look how gorgeous that is. So pretty. I have a little bit overhanging. I'm going to trim this off, and then I'll place this panel on the front of my card base. Once this is placed on my card base, we're going to put this to the side, and now we're going to do a little bit more ink blending and die cutting. I have a piece of teal colored cardstock. I'm going to take our elegant heart and I'm going to die cut this out. I'll be right back. Isn't that gorgeous? So pretty. Now I want a background for this, so what I'm going to do is take it some white cardstock and just using a pencil, I'm going to trace around it. And then I'm going to use my scissors and I will trim just on the inside of this heart. And we'll create a backing for this. Now I have a backing for my heart. We're going to ink blend on this heart. We're going to use Blueberry Sky ink. I'm going to add a little bit of blue here and go around the edges. Once I have this done, I'm going to go around the edges of this heart also. We're going to layer both of these together. So I'm going to flip this around, we'll add some glue. And I just think this looks so pretty. I did put foam tape behind here. We're going to go ahead and place this directly in the center of our card base. Give that a good press. And then now we're going to work on our florals. Let's put this to the side. I went ahead and used the coordinating dies and cut out my florals with white cardstock. Now we're going to stamp directly on here. I'm going to use acrylic blocks today. Today we're going to stamp this flower here. So let's start by stamping this piece. We're going to stamp this one with Raspberry Fizz. My next layer we're going to stamp with Summer Sunrise. So let's take this. I'm going to stamp with my Summer Sunrise directly on this floral. Okay, and then I'm also going to stamp it on a layering piece that I die cut out. We'll stamp this here also. In our stamp set we're going to stamp this piece here. Okay, let's stamp this right at the bottom. That's all the yellow that we're going to do, but I do want to add the detail layer here, which is this piece. So let's bring in a smaller acrylic block. This detail layer, I'm going to use Hibiscus Burst. And we'll just stamp this. And then we can layer this with some foam tape directly over this piece. We're going to do the stems last. So I'll put this to the side. We're going to work on this flower, which is this one here. Let's pick this up. We'll ink this up here. And then I'll stamp this right over the top. We're going to do layering with this flower too. So I have this piece. This piece actually matches this one and this one. I'm using my Berry Sorbet ink, which I need to get a refill for. I don't have it. It's my favorite color and the ink's going dry. We're going to ink this here. We'll give this a good press. Wonderful. And I'm going to stamp the detail layer with my Raspberry Fizz. This is a get well card, so we're going to make this bright and cheery. Wonderful. We're going to add a foam square to here, and then we could layer this right over the center. Now we're going to stamp our leaves. First, I'm going to stamp this with my Hawaiian Shores. And we'll go ahead and add these. Wonderful. And I do want to bring in a little bit of extra color to match the heart that's in our background. So I'm going to bring in my Blueberry Sky, and I'm going to add a little bit at the base of each of these flowers. Just a little bit, and I'm going to stamp it one more time. There we go. So we have dark and light. I just love this. Now I'll put these together. It's really simple. What I like to do is just add a little dot of glue at the top of my stem. And then I'll add the flower portion here. And then I'm going to add a dot of glue at the base of the flowers. And then we can add. And now our florals are all done. Let's go ahead and take these and add these to the front of our card. And I'm just going to overlap them to one side. We're going to fill this up. Give that a press. And just so I can see the heart a little bit more, I removed one of my leaves. So I just pulled that one of my darker green leaves off. Okay, we'll put this to the side, and now we're going to stamp our greeting. We'll place this on an acrylic block. I'm going to ink up first with my Berry Sorbet ink. And I want to create a gradient with this. So we'll add Berry Sorbet. And then I'm going to go in with my Hibiscus Burst at the very bottom. Kind of do some swishing motions up towards the middle. And we'll stamp this here. Give that a good press. Lovely. And then for my secondary greeting, we're going to stamp Sending Love and Healing Hugs. I'm going to ink this up with my True Black ink here. We'll stamp this. Okay, I'm going to use the coordinating dies, and I will block this off and cut this out, and I'll be right back. When I die cut out my greeting, I also die cut out some pop-up foam. We're going to go ahead and add a little bit of glue here. And then we'll layer this right over the top. I put glue behind my Get Well, and we're going to place it along the bottom portion of our heart here, covering up the stem areas. I'm going to bring in some of my Papertrey Ink Rainbow Gems, and we're going to add a little bit of sparkle to our background. And that will finish off my Get Well card for Papertrey Ink. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.